Good morning. Good morning. So Andre said next time he'll do a better intro. Anything that gets the ride fired up should not happen. So we do not want a better intro. So good morning. Welcome to the 2025 Airport Minority Advisory Council Business Meeting. It is good to see people in the room showing an interest in the business affairs of AMAC. Hopefully you find the activities of the year as exciting as we have. Before I kick off into the meeting, I'm going to ask all the board members of AMAC if they will stand up, please, so that you can recognize. These guys do amazing work for you. We pay them probably more than we should. They keep coming back anyway. Madam Secretary, before we get into the election, we'll ask you to confirm that we have a quorum. Nice loud, thank you. So the agenda is I will give some brief remarks, and then I will ask some committee members to come up and give updates on not all committees, but certain committees have information that you should share, that you should hear. We will then go into the election process. And I'll ask Luke Ryan to come up and lead us through that process, and then we'll get the president's report. Our amazing president will give an update on all the work that's been done and through the organization. Then we will adjourn the meeting. And so we're up against another event that's following this one. So we need to try to wrap up this meeting by about 12:45. And so for all of those committee members who reported, go Swift. If we can get Swift, it'll be Swift. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So just a couple points from here, and I'll be brief. The board decided that it was important that we kind of re-examine the business structure of the organization, the relationship between the board, the national office, the committees, the regional directors, the foundation board, the PAC board, the chapters. The organization has become so multifaceted that we thought it was time that we step back and kind of re-examine how we should move forward. So an outcome of that retreat that we held in Santa Fe, New Mexico, was the formation of a governance advisory committee, which is a smaller subset of the board that's been working very hard to kind of pull together this framework that will evolve. And you'll hear a lot more about that, so I'm not going to get into that too much. We still have some work to do to present to the board for approval, but I wanted you to know that the board was working very hard, trying to make sure that we position ourselves for the future. You're going to hear more about chapters today. That started out as a transformative effort, and we're beginning to see the benefits or the transform of the chapters. And so you'll hear more about the amazing work that's going on there. Membership, earlier during the open session, I talked about the board showing carriage that a lot of boards won't do. One of those acts of carriage was an adjustment in our membership structure, our membership fee structure. And we're beginning to see wins there. And so I think Ebony might touch on that when she comes up and she gives the president for membership. Tosin Kasali is going to give an update on that, and so we're excited about that. Last year, you gave the board the authority to launch what we call the Supplier Diversity Initiative. That is another one of those transformative initiatives that we'll be talking about in 10, 15, 20 years from now. Sheila Hudson's been doing an amazing job leading that effort, and she's going to speak to that a little later in the program. And so those are kind of the highlights from a board standpoint. The board is working very hard to make sure that they like this position to move forward. I think Ebony will also touch on the intervention that we engage. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I think from a legal standpoint, it's a very sensitive matter. So the least people that talk about it, the better. But with that being said, I will ask Madam our elections chair to come up and do it. No, actually, who's going to report first? Which committee first? Bill Swift. Bill Swift will be Swift, and he will give the finance report. Bill?
This is Bill Swift, not Ricky Smith. I'm going to jump right into it. We're going to make this rather short and precise and informative. Make sure you know that one, our revenue is $3.8 million. Our expense is $2.9 million. We have exceeded our cost to do business. Keeping in mind, this is a non-profit trade organization. We're allowed to have funds greater than that which costs us to operate. We just don't call it profit. But was a part of the assurance that you have to have that two things happen. One, COVID. We survived COVID, and you'll see the numbers later. But we also were surviving the conditions that have been presented to us, and we had an advanced understanding, at least appreciation, for how we had to adjust AMAC, this position, for what this administration is placing on us. What's also important to us is our asset base. Our asset base is a $4.5 million operation, assets, with a 1.4 liability base. We're better than 2 to 1, where our ratio is very strong. It supports the membership interest in being sure that AMAC is able to fulfill its obligations to its membership with the financial strength to make sure that we're still here. Every aspect of what we've attempted to do is keep our costs down, especially this year, going into 2025 and 2024, making sure, again, that we were prudent in our approach to financing the operation of AMAC. This gives you an impression, certainly a chart, where we were prior to COVID-19, taking us through the dip of COVID, and bringing us back. The Transportation Committee, strike that. The Finance Committee would like to take responsibility for having done this. Great job. But in fact, thank you. But in fact, it took all of us, the entire board, the entire staff, put their arms around this and say, we have to do this right, regardless of the condition. And I think we came out on the best side of it. And we're still improving. No outstanding loans, no litigation, prior year audit findings, great, no challenges on it, and tax returns. We have stayed in pace with every aspect of what it takes to run a non-profit trade organization. Is that it? That was quick. There's one thing I should say. Okay. This is about to make President JKF. 2014 revenue was 1.6. 2024, 3.7. Moving the right direction.
All right. Good morning. All right. Let's make this quick too. Okay. I'm just going to highlight some of the key drivers for one, and then the membership realignment that Mr. Smith also shared with us. There was a change in the membership dues fee structure that we talked through. The AMAC calendar is also changed to a calendar year, January 1st through the end of the year versus starting the calendar year in April. So that will have a material impact on the next one, which is the invoicing and payment timing. Very important for airports who are not on the same fiscal calendar. So as you're navigating, paying your dues for next year, hopefully, you will be kind of aware that most of that invoicing and the notices will be sent out prior to the beginning of the new year, versus typically we start sending it in April. And then some facts and figures, numbers, we have 776 members as of May 2025 versus 465, which is a 67% increase year over year. So while that is a great statistic, I would be remiss if not mention that that's only probably somewhat driven by the fact that we started to push for membership early in the year than we typically would later in the year. So a lot of it is front loaded. However, year on year, we still expect to be over at least 30-40% in memberships year over year. And then 1.2 in dues collected, and I'll shed some light on that on the next slide. And then the membership drivers have been, a great work by the national office, Miss Ebony Wimbush and her team, the membership committee as well. And just by the numbers, as you can see also, 67%, 40% increase in students, 76% increase in business members, 24% in airports, so on and so forth. And then what's also really, really incredible, as Mr. Swift shared, $1.2 million in dues collected to date versus $355 at the same time last year. And just to kind of give you another look at the numbers regarding how the membership increase has affected how much we're collecting. If we had kept the dues fee structure the same as in 2024 as in 2025, we would have left $662,000 on the table. And why this is important is the work that we're doing right now obviously needs to be capitalized in some fashion. And this is one of the reasons we've decided to increase the dues. So thank you for your generosity, and we expect more of that next year. Thank you. That's it.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to take my time.
Did you see that was
Okay, Supplier Diversity Initiative. So I'm going to take my time a little bit here. I know time, but Bill Swift was Swift and Minnie was Swift, so I'm going to take a little time here. If most of you in the room recall that in 2023, our chairman announced a new initiative called the AMAC refund. Now, being the girly girl that I am, and when he appointed me chair, I said, AMAC refund? What is that? What does AMAC owe me? I'm thinking of credit and refund. So anyway, we changed the name to Supplier Diversity Initiative for now, and created some missions behind that based on the chairman's goal and purpose of what he wanted us to do. So the Supplier Diversity Initiative was created to drive innovation and visibility for suppliers, design readiness for programs, getting them ready. Promote policy and partnerships, and advance systematic changes. Some of the initiatives that came out of that was, one, to create a supplier database, SDI database. And if you recall last year, our chairman did mention the supplier database portal. I'm hoping that those suppliers in the room have taken advantage of that. If not, you can go to our website. Is that right, Ebony? Our national website to scan the QR code and update your information. And this is important because when airports and primes are looking for suppliers, we want AMAC to be that one source, that one-stop shop where they go and look and identify some of the suppliers that are ready to do business. And they're ready because of all of the programs and platforms and innovative tools and resources that we're creating to make sure that they're ready. Runway to success. I'm hoping to see everybody in the room today at 2:00 now. Just a few blocks, well, not blocks, just down the hall there at the main stage, where we will have our suppliers who have made it to the national competition pitch. Yesterday, I'll talk a little bit more about the runway, what we did, but please, I hope you all show up because our suppliers need that level of support. The BCA program is a program that was already created by our national office and in collaboration with Morehouse. But what we've identified is that there needs to be a track for suppliers. So we're working with Jeanette Saunders and the national office to identify a curriculum that would be solely and specifically for our suppliers to, again, make sure that they're ready to do business. And then the last initiative that the committee has created is the Mentor Protege Program. And this is an opportunity for us to collaborate with national brands, national suppliers, to create a way that there could be a mentorship between those national brands and those who are new, but they're ready to do business so that they can be successful, because the goal is to set them up for success. And what better way to do that is to collaborate with or peer with some of our national brand partners through our primes, of course, to see if they will be willing to be mentors to those who are trying to get into the industry. So those are the 4 initiatives that we've been working on. I talked about the supplier database. Again, the purpose is to centralize the supplier information, enhance visibility, create matchmaking opportunities, track and report, and make sure that our suppliers are ready and help to build capacity. Runway to Success. So excited to announce this initiative. This is a supplier pitch competition that was designed pretty much on the same platform if you think about Shark Tank, and if you also think about the NCAA tournament. So you have all of these conference, Ricky, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, but we have all of these basketball tournaments, and then they, play and they get down to these brackets, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. So that is the whole setup of the platform for Runway to Success. And again, today we have our top 4 that will be pitching on the stage today in hopes of building a partnership with some of our primes who will be VIP judges as well. Thanks to our regional cities that agreed to collaborate with us. I'll skip through that slide, the last slide. We were able to have 49 applicants expressed an interest. Of the 49, 22 passed the vetting screening process and was able to pitch in Baton Rouge. 18 were able to pitch in St. Louis, Missouri. And as you can see, they were from everywhere: Illinois, Louisiana, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia, Georgia, and some other great states. Our hope next time around is that our chapters will be more engaged and more involved with this pitch competition so that they too can have a partnership in this whole initiative, making sure that it's driving their membership. Those who've invested in the local chapters drive the membership for support and collaboration as well. Of those that pitched, 8 moved on to the next round, which is where we are today. We had yesterday 8 that were featured in the exhibit booths with, what do we call it, Andre? Our Runway to Success alley. Right? Runway to Success Alley, where we had 8 exhibitors there showcasing their products. We had our VIP judges go to those exhibit booths, ask questions, taste and smell and feel the brands and the products that were being exhibited. And then we all went to another space, and the judges, they collaborated for a long time to decide on the top 4 that will be pitching today at 2:00. So again, I'm hoping to see everyone there to garner some support. The top 8 were victorious. Okay, got some Chicago folks in the house. Yay, Chicago. Ooh, and pom-poms, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Crafty Nibbles was from Baton Rouge. Good Boy Goodies, Atlanta, Georgia. Yes. Posy Pots. Anybody know Posy Pots? Okay. Rejuvenation out of Oklahoma, but she pitched in Baton Rouge. And T-Bola was out of St. Louis, Missouri. Also, look, I'm just going to call him Q Sprint Walker, because it's tough to pronounce that name, but he's from Akron, Ohio. He pitched in Baton Rouge, and was able to showcase. And then U Forkett was also, able to pitch here. Unfortunately, they had an emergency, so they weren't able, a family emergency, so they were not able to pitch, but they are a good product that moved along. Of those, the top four that moved on today, I'll go back for a second, is Big Toys. Big Toys, yeah, yes, for Big Toys. Good Boy Goodies will be pitching today. Rejuvenation will be pitching today. And the vodka product will be pitching today. So again, I hope to see you at 2:00. I'll skip past that. Next round. So since we kicked it off, we had a lot of chapters express their commitment for the next round. And so we'll be following up with them soon. But so far we have Atlanta, Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, and St. Louis who have agreed to pitch. We probably need 2 or 3 more to have our top 8. And then from there we'll go to the next round. The BCA program, I mentioned, overall, the purpose is to bridge readiness, to get our suppliers ready. So we felt like there needed to be a track that was really focused on suppliers to get them ready. We want them to have hands-on learning and mentorship through that program, and then also create a pathway to procurement opportunities as well. The Mentor Protege program, I talked about that. That's a new initiative that we will be kicking off this year, once we go through our Runway to Success program. And the goal there is, again, to bridge experiences with aspiration, strategize to help build capacity, customize a learning plan, and build a pipeline between the suppliers and our national brands so that when those national brands are going after procurement opportunities, they will consider some of the smaller suppliers to be partners with them. ACDBE partners or just regular partners so that they can grow and learn how to be a successful supplier in our aviation space. One of the things, really I fought against this. I really don't want us to change our name, but we're in a time where we definitely need to change our name because of the sensitivity of where we are today. And we also feel like SCI has evolved. So in evolving, we decided we needed to change the name of the Supplier Diversity Initiative to something that was more current and moving forward. And with that being said, the committee did a vote, full committee, and we came up with a new name. So the new name moving forward will be Supplier Innovation Platform, SIP. You love it? I heard someone, yeah. All right, then. Okay, well, I don't think I have time for questions. You do? Okay, thank you, Anthony. All right, any questions? No questions? All right, I'm good. I wasn't switched. Looking up. Is someone else?
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my family. How are you doing? Good. Who's that? Yes, I will. All right. Well, my name is Nick Ryan. I'm happy to announce the winners of this year's election. Before we do that, let me just kind of give you an overview of the process for some of you that may not be familiar, so next time and next year. This year's open positions are Treasury, Secretary, Midwest Regional Director, Central Regional Director, Northeast Regional Director, Northwest, and 1 at-large director. Overall schedule for this year. We first started with the nomination period, which started in April 1st to the 30th. Then we presented the slate of candidates to the board on May 14th. Candidate campaign began June 25th. Then Javon and his team audited the elections, and then culminating today with you all. Thank you for getting here so we can have quorum. A little bit more in depth. Call of nominations again started April 1st. We did the outreach by email, social media, and there were direct calls, text messages, and we received 23 unique responses. So thank you to all those that went through the nomination process. The campaign that started after the board, after I reached out to also reached out to all the nominees and presented and made sure that the membership was the members were in good standard. The nominees were in good standing. Then we presented the slate to the board. The board ratified it. Then we were allowed to campaign. A couple things with the campaigning. We wanted to make sure that the membership directory was not released to prevent misuse and unfair disadvantage or unfair advantage. We did a elections page. We updated that to have a meet the candidates section to include statements and flyers and headshots. So thank you to Shahara and her team for doing that. And then the national office promoted the nominees by e-blast and social media. To be an eligible voter, here's the criteria here. You have to be a member in good standing. There's different categories: airport member, business member, corporate member, individual member. And the key thing is that you must reside and operate or employ in the same region for the regional director candidates. Student member reminder: student members cannot vote in general meetings and stand for office or vote. That is the process. Any questions before we go into the important part? All right. All right, so these are the candidates for this year. All right, and that should have been the question. Who are the candidates? Right? Hopefully you all knew who the candidates were, right? All right, so at large, remember we're only selecting one, right? And I have everything here. We have Toyin Abonfoju with Jacobs, Marlene Coleman with Aries, Mr. Eric Young from PSC Management, Lauren Magnum Reed for TMG Hospitality, Kevin Swan, I don't think I saw him yet, from HOK, Teresa Schroeder from Turner Construction. For Treasurer, Bill Swift. Secretary, Siobhan Higgins. Central Regional Director, Sheila Hudson. Northwest Regional Director, Gina Pilibro. And Northeast Regional Director, Indira Figueroa. Yeah, got it. All right. As I open this envelope to provide the results, I think Ricky should have you come up here so we can do the motion and vote right after. Chair Ricky, I apologize. Let me not put another paper cut here. All right, let me process this here. Thank you, bro. All right. Let me see. Let's go with the easy ones. Regional Director, Northwest, Miss Gina Killebrew. And as I go through these, if we can have the nominees come up, please. Regional Director, Northeast, Indira. Yeah, let's do it. Because you want to do the picture after. Regional Director, Central, Miss Sheila Hudson. Couldn't match your energy right now, but I apologize. Treasurer, Mr. Bill Swift. Secretary, Ms. Siobhan Higgins. How long should I wait, Mr. Ricky? All right, so at-large director, drum roll. All right, Mrs. Lauren Magnum Reed.
call the motion.
First, let me congratulate the newly elected members of the board. Let's give another round of applause. So, Jenny Chillerby, who's also re-elected, is not with us right now. Her sister was in a car accident. She had to, so we offer our prayers to her. So, I will now ask for a confirmation that we have a quorum. And since the sitting secretary is standing in front of me, she can't give me the nod. That's the nod? Yeah. All right. So we have a quorum. Thank you. So I will now accept the motion to approve this newly elected members of the board. So we have it's been moved by board member Dwight Pullum, and it's been seconded by board member Justina Lamb. So thank you very much. If there's no opposition from the membership, hearing no opposition from the membership, we'll consider these newly elected members new board members. Congratulations. Hey, I'm going to take the picture. We'll arrange to take the picture, guys. You act like you don't get out at all, so it makes fun. Before we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the president's report, every business meeting, we always try to push the envelope. We try to stretch what we're doing, and so we do that by announcing to you that new initiatives that we will be embarking on. So I'm going to ask the very capable vice chair, Bridget Villegas, to come up and share with you two initiatives that we'll be talking to the board about launching, and she'll also give an update on another major initiative that you guys approved a couple of years ago. So here you go.
I lost my voice last night, but not from partying, from talking over music.
Sure.
How many of you attended our first annual Women in Aviation Summit last year in Atlanta? It was successful beyond our expectations. It came from me sitting, from a group of us actually sitting in the Women in Aviation breakfast thinking, it's so early and we've been out all night. We're more than just a breakfast. So we turned it into a summit. Our second She Soars Women in Aviation Summit will be held in Atlanta, Georgia this year, September 18th and 19th, ahead of the Mayor's 5K on the runway. So we're rounding out the summit again with a little group wellness. If you're interested in that 5K, get registered now because registration is open for women in aviation, and there is a little, I believe like a little discount or something on the mayor's race. And I do believe that this, if you're an avid runner, I do believe that this 5K qualifies as a qualifying race as well. So avid runner is not me. So please join us. And we all are welcome. It's not just for women, it's for the men who support women too. So we'd like to see everyone there. Okay. So a lot of these ideas hit me when I'm just like talking to, the members at dinner or just out and about throughout the conference. I was speaking with Daryl Daniels and Greg Plummer a couple of nights ago, and Daryl Daniels mentioned, hey, it'd be nice to know where your store or what location I'm shopping at such and such airport, Greg, so that I know that I'm shopping with you or with Nick or someone else. And I was like, that's like a Green Book initiative. So I know we've all heard of the Green Book, but maybe we can create an AMAC book. And this is an initiative I'd like to bring back to the board. So because we want to be able to support our member businesses, we want to be able to explore the possibility of this AMAC book that showcases our members across the U.S., in terminal and on street side. So not just for your locations in the street, because we don't all just stay in the airport and never leave the airport unless you are me or Nikki or someone else, because we don't get to leave airports. But we do go on vacation, we do go visit family, and some of us do have businesses that are outside of the airport. So We're going to look at maybe trying to figure out a way to support your businesses both in the airport and outside of the airport by creating an AMAC fund. The next initiative that we're going to explore with the trade board is creating an AMAC historical committee. Preparing for the 40th, we realized that we have some holes in our historical data. We're fortunate to have folks like Clark Sharp and many others to be able to call that continue to be engaged and we're able to call upon that are that were here from day one and still able to provide historical information. Clark was able to provide original articles of incorporation to help with this 40th anniversary or this 40th celebration that we're enjoying. But we still have some work to do with just getting like some things done. So we'd like to explore putting together a historical committee. And we think that that will be a valuable asset beyond the 40th, like just keeping track of record and making sure that, we have all we need for our 50th. So those are the two initiatives that I wanted to pitch to keep you guys posted on anything that comes about.
We have amazing board members, and I remember as a young member of AMAC, working at in what was the national office at that time, Ebony. Clark Sharp was the chair, and his amazing wife Jean, who he's collaborating with now. They're probably planning out how they're going to take over the historical. She ran the national office, and I was the volunteer to help. So Mr. Sharp, don't be surprised if we call on you to actually make a share.
That was a surprise for AMAC.
So now, Ebony Windrush, President CEO, is not going to give the President's support.
I'm going to take my time too, Sheila.
Hey,
At least to get organized. I won't take too much time. I'm a paper person, and I said I'm trying to be a technology person, but I don't know about this. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again. If I haven't had an opportunity to welcome you to the conference, I want to start by thanking the board. They are partners in the work that we do. They set the strategy, and the national office works hard to execute on that vision. And so while we do partner on strategy, it's really important the role that they're in. And so again, thank you to the board. They are doing, I'm going to use Ricky's, amazing. They are doing courageous work on behalf of this organization. My national office team is also out there working. I don't see anybody here, but I do want to acknowledge them. That starts with Andre Titus, our Senior Manager of Programming and Operations. Jeanette Saunders, our Vice President of Education and Business Advisory. Ramon Lowe, our Director of Membership and Industry Engagement. Ashley Claw, our Administrative Support Person. And our newest member of the team, Hydea Colbreth, our Program Support Specialist. So the dollars that you're investing in membership is going to work to support all that we do. We talk about small but mighty staff. We do have an extended team, and I do want to acknowledge them because some of them are in the room. J.T. Goldstein, Javon and his team leads our financial services as CFO and accounting. Mariko Edwards, our general counsel. And Shahara Anderson Davis, our communications consultant. Yeah. Did I forget anyone? Got everybody? All right. So, clicker. So this is not it. This is not it. So I'm gonna talk. This is not it. In 2024, we launched our strategic plan. And our strategic plan had a number of pillars, including advocacy, thought leadership, wealth creation, leadership diversification, and operational sustainability. And a number of goals were created for each of those pillars. We started with advocacy as a foundation because it's really, I would say, the core of what we do. I'm gonna use that term, and I actually have my presentation, so I'll go through it here on the stage. Somebody can get Shahara, please. She's right there. Okay. So as a part of the advocacy pillar, one of the things that the national office has been doing on behalf of you and the membership is working in partnership with our government affairs committee, led by Fabrad Ali and Gonzalo de Molina. They are executing on, and we are helping them execute on a strategy that focuses on education, advocacy, activating our membership, and strategic partnerships. We're also very focused on leveraging our enterprise, and that includes our AMAC PAC. So what we do also needs to extend into our strategies, our priorities, extend into our AMAC PAC, and how they are supporting candidates who embrace our mission. Through the dollars that you are investing in AMAC, we hired a lobbyist this year, Phoenix Strategies, and they're really focused to help us with grassroots efforts. Their contract focuses on strategy development, direct advocacy, education and message development. It's pretty interesting. Our team out of Atlanta had a meeting with Senator Ossoff's office, and they talked about the need to continue to be brought up to speed on these issues and educated on these issues. And so that education messaging is critical, not just for our membership, but for our elected officials. And really helping us get in front of elected officials so that our legislative priorities are elevated. Some of the other work that we're doing around advocacy that I want to share with you. How many people joined us for the Economic Opportunity and Policy Forum? A good number. We were on Capitol Hill strong. We had 109 participants. We had over 57 congressional meetings. Out of those meetings, there's several follow-ups, including that meeting that I just talked about with many of our Atlanta chapter members, with Senator Ossoff's office. And there's a follow-up for town hall. Our Denver chapter, we're in the process of developing a town hall with Congressman Nagusa. And so a lot of work to just not have a meeting on one day, but to continue to continue to focus on getting in front of them. So you saw some fruits of that labor. Last year we had Congressman Horsford here. Yesterday we gathered over about 40 commissioners and airport directors for our CEO summit. Congressman Horsford's office did a briefing on the big beautiful bill, the implications and opportunities for airport directors and commissioners. Why is that important for you? Because then they went on and an integration of a legal update by one of our member organizations, Kathleen Kirsch, a budget update from Senator Horsford's office. He's in the department, or he sits on the Commerce Committee. And then we had a creative financial solutions discussion. But why that's important to you It's important because those elected officials, those commissioners, and those airport directors are thinking about, how do we still create opportunity for our small businesses, our small local businesses who drive the economy locally, right? Who power jobs. And so many of those are the people here in the room. I think someone earlier talked about the Quorum software. We've purchased Quorum software. It's really an opportunity for us to build and manage grassroots campaigns, enabling us to really tap into not just our member support, but industry support, and mobilize each of them in you to take action. So Ricky alluded to Democracy Forward. I want you to know, and that's why I actually started with the thanks to those board members. Your board is ensuring that we are defending the lifeline for small businesses. So in January, AMAC joined a coalition that is represented by Democracy Forward, and that's to defend the DBE program. We know that discrimination still exists. And so we know that today it's not a level playing field. So we've got to continue to fight for you, our members, and quite honestly, the industry. And a decisive victory for equity in public contracting on May the 21st, the judge granted AMAC and those coalition members the right to intervene into the Mid-America Millings case. But Roger Strong was on the stage before me, and he talked about the Mid-America Millings case. But the truth is, AMAC is now at the table. So the mere fact that we are interveners allows us to speak on your behalf, allows us to talk about the discrimination that we hear stories about and still know exists, to allow us to talk about all of those things to represent you. We expected, yes. So a few days later, after the court granted us and the coalition the right to intervene, the Department of Justice and those plaintiffs, they filed a joint motion proposing a consent decree that would dismantle the DBE program that was authorized. They did it without consulting the interveners. So a few of you know that I'm a woman of faith, and you heard me say at the opening session, I thought that it was divine that Ricky was in his position in this time. I also think it's pretty divine that just a few days before they were able to put in that consent decree, that we were granted the right to intervene. I really think timing is everything, and I don't think it's coincidental. Because had they entered that right to, or the opportunity to dissolve the case, we would not have anything to stand on. So on May the 29th, the coalition filed an opposition to that consent decree, saying that we have a right to speak on behalf of this program. The government is not going to defend it. AMAC and those coalition members will. We will do it for you. Your voices will be heard. So I want you to know that you are investing in an organization that is investing in the industry and supporting the membership. A couple other things I want to share about. Bridget talked about our women in aviation. One of the pillars, of course, that we talk about is leadership diversification. This morning was a beautiful celebration, ensuring that we celebrate the women who are leaders in this industry. There are not a lot of women. I think it's Shanetta, 5 female African-American airport directors, and Shanetta Griffin, I want to give her a little shout out. I have to, because I tricked her into something the other day. So I told her I owe her. But she's just taken the helm of Baltimore, Washington, Thurgood Marshall Airport. But we've got the likes of Charlene Reynolds, help me out here, Shanetta, John Wayne, Rosa Beckett, who's here, Jackson, Mississippi. Cynthia Goodry, who could not be here, who wants to be here. I'll save the story, but she will be at our Women in Aviation. And she is actually a part of that leadership committee working hard for the Women in Aviation Summit. Bridget talked about the success. We had over 317 participants. Again, it's not just about convening. Some of the goals of that event, though, just so you know, are certainly to advance women in aviation, to foster confidence and resilience, to equip HR leaders and executive management with strategies to develop and retain women, and to facilitate meaningful connections. We also had some elected officials there. We had some of the elected officials out of Georgia highlighting policies and practices that support retaining and attracting women. We also have the FAA there, and really letting them hear from us to ensure that strategies that go forward for the industry happen. And so we will continue to build on that. We had a speed mentoring program where we had about 9 different mentors and 44 women who were mentees. And so you'll continue to see the work that we do to really actualize on the pillars that we talked about. I'm going to share just a few more things and then wrap up so that we can all go up to the general session with Mark Muriel and John Hope Bryant. But I do want to talk about operational sustainability. It was an important part of the strategic plan. Some of it included growing underrepresented segments of our membership, including our AEC, including making sure that people knew that AMAC was an organization that represented everyone: women, African Americans, Latinos, Asian Americans. So really focus on initiatives, and you'll see more of that in the upcoming year as well. Making sure that we had our infrastructure in place. And so what Bridget just talked about with the historical committee, we absolutely have to have that. We absolutely do. But that's a part of the infrastructure that'll power this organization, not just the fact that we're here today, but 20 years when the emerging leader takes over this spot, right? So really important. But lastly, I want to talk about our chapters. So we hired Hadia and transitioned her to a full-time employee to support the work that we're doing for chapters in partnership with Ramon. I want any of the chapter officers to stand up. I see a few of them in the room. Please stand. So we got Chicago in the back with their pom-pom. Atlanta, can y'all top that? The newly formed Houston chapter. Los Angeles chapter. Anybody from Detroit? Miss Lori over there? Yes, bring it up for the D. And then the Baltimore, Washington chapter. We've got folks from Denver in here. Any of the Denver chapter? Hezekiah, we got you back there. They are doing, I got everybody, right? Look, I'm still saying that. That's it. They are doing incredible work, but the work that we thought that they could do to take this organization from a national organization and really make it local, very close to how our airports operate. And so what we're doing at the national office is to ensure that they have the support that they need so that they understand the best practices that are out there amongst each other, but also at other organizations, so that they can take our strategic plan and really bring that to life at a local level based on what makes sense for their particular chapter, to ensure that they are growing our membership. And so everything that we're doing at the national office to support the chapters is really in support of the membership and in support of you. And so I will wrap it up and close out, but to see if there are any questions, I certainly can take one or two before we transition up to the Empire Ballroom. Any questions for me? All right. Well, I want to thank you. I'm going to bring our chair back up, and I want to remind you at 1 o'clock in the general session room, which was the same room you went to celebrating women in aviation, the same room we had our opening session. We'll kick off with Mark Morial, and then if any of you know the president of the National Urban League, you know that you should not miss him. Yes, we can clap for that. And then John Hope Bryant will be doing a fireside chat. And for those of you who know John Hope Bryant, you know that's a not to miss. But for those of you who don't know him, you don't want to miss that. And there'll be some signed autograph books for you too there. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our board chair to close us out. Thank you.
All right, we're winding down. I was glad to see Ebony recognize the amazing female airport directors that we have. You know, that's kind of a quiet priority for this organization. We do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that happens. Gladys Brown out of Yuma, for example, Arizona, is another one on the list. Let me recognize. But before I do that, we do have some amazing men that are serving as airport directors as well. And we have two recent appointments of major airports. My good friend Lance Little, Mr. the Renegade. He had a passenger wave. And my good friend Michael McMillan, who is a GNE from Chicago. Now he's at the conference, and he's a great actor. So we're also going to congratulate him as well. So, Stephen Baker, that's right. From the Washington area. Little Rock here, Stephen. And Michael Stevens, you know, it is a good problem. It's a good problem when you can't remember all the minority airport CEOs. That's a good problem to have. So I want to congratulate all of them and welcome to the Airport Leadership Collective as well. With that, I will entertain a motion to close. We got a motion from Karen Ellis. We got a second from Bill. This was orchestrated. Okay. We got a second from Nikki Holland. Thank you very much. Unless there's objection from the membership closing the meeting, we will consider this business meeting closed. Adjourned. Thank you.